Hollywood panic, Deadpool creating spin-offs for non-woke characters. Yes, the Hollywood media that would not like to see more and more male-focused superheroes doing what superheroes do is now warning Marvel fans that Marvel will use Deadpool to spin off characters you might actually also want to see. Coming from The Independent, be warned, Marvel fans, Deadpool and Wolverine is using you. The comic book movie is cameos galore, with everyone from Channing Tatum to Henry Cavill popping in to say hello. In the wake of its star's latest tweets, it's looking increasingly like the film was used to test the waters for potential sequels. Gambit spinoff, anyone? Well, that is the nature of an ongoing story world, especially one if you have any understanding about comic books. Where do you think Wolverine came from? He originally appeared in The Incredible Hulk in the 1970s. Superhero characters and villains, of course, appear in each other's series, in each other's movies, in each other's shows all the time. That's a natural expression of what the format of the story world is. It's supposed to do that. It's really not about a public service message warning people, hey, watch out, you may not want to see this movie, because they're using it to promote a lot of characters. It's really a complaint that, yes, you're going to see more traditional superhero characters come out of Marvel, come out of Disney, that fit what the traditional superhero is. They're not going to be pushing social agendas the way that superheroes were trying to do just a couple of years ago. All of that failed miserably. And anytime they go back anywhere near to what people want to see, they have a massive success, like Deadpool and Wolverine, or even Pixar's Inside Out 2. Marvel is back ostensibly, following a run of box office duds and Disney Plus series that few people seem to watch or care about. The superhero-centric movie studio has resurrected itself with Deadpool and Wolverine. And all Marvel had to do was to make something people who follow and are interested in Marvel would want to see, and want to see more than once, because it was cool, because it was well done, because it was made for the audience that actually follows Marvel. In its first week of release, the film, a second sequel to 2016's Deadpool, banked $500 million and nudged the Marvel Cinematic Universe across the $30 billion threshold. Together with X-Men darling Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds' saucy, smutty Merc with a mouth has given the ailing MCU much-needed CPR. The film's biggest selling point wasn't Reynolds, however, or even the return of Jackman, who had supposedly retired the character in 2017. No, the secret to Deadpool's success, and perhaps the future success of the whole MCU, may well be its huge roster of cameos. That's not the secret of its success. That is appealing to people who are interested in the Marvel brand and interested in the Marvel story world. You could have put all these cameos and more in the Marvels. It still wouldn't have made any money. In fact, it would have ruined that many more characters for people because of the negative association with any of the Marvel's characters. Across 2 hours, there are dozens of cameos, ranging from the mass appeal names your granny will recognize to the uber niche. Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Chris Evans as Fantastic Four's Human Torch, Jennifer Garner as Elektra, Wesley Snipes as Blade. The list goes on and on, but while all are relatively fleeting, perhaps they're not that frivolous. If you want to predict the future of the MCU, just take a look at the call sheet for Deadpool and Wolverine. The film's revolving door of actors has offered Marvel a unique and well-timed opportunity to brainstorm more revenue streams, spin-offs, sequels, and so on. Nowhere is this focus group approach more evident than in the film's handling of Gambit, the card-flinging X-Men mutant whose own dedicated spin-off movie landed Tatum as its prospective star back in 2014. The Gambit project spent half a decade in production limbo before it was shelved amid the 2019 Fox-Disney merger. The character's role in the film feels akin to a screen test or chemistry read. It's easy to imagine a hive of office drones at Marvel headquarters, painstakingly monitoring social media reactions to every surprise appearance. If the response online is anything to go by, a new Tatum Gambit film is a very real possibility. Of course it's a real possibility, and you don't really need to do that much analysis. AI is now tracking everything everyone pretty much does all the time. Or at least it's capable of doing that. So just tracking the social media mentions and buzz that a project or a concept seems to have is not that difficult. Marvel already knows which characters were resonating with people and which not, and a major factor is if Ryan Reynolds decides he wants to support something like this. If he wants to support it, if he's going to back it, it's going to happen. As if to make this explicit, Reynolds threw his support behind such an idea in a tweet this week. Quote, "Gambit was a guy Chan was born to play." Ryan Reynolds declared in a 2-paragraph post that is both an outpouring of love and admiration for his on-screen pal and a nakedly commercial test balloon for a potential Gambit spinoff. "He's one of the coolest, smartest characters in comics and still largely unexplored," he continued. "I want more, and from what I saw in theaters, you do too." He stopped just short of tagging MCU boss Kevin Feige in the tweet. Marvel has precedent on this sort of thing, of course. When Catherine Hahn's witchy villain achieved online virality in the 2021 Disney Plus series WandaVision, the studio rushed to commission Agatha All Along, a still forthcoming spin-off. And it's not just Gambit. Reynolds has voiced similar advocacy behind Snipes, whose blade looked much the same in Deadpool and Wolverine as he did in 1998, only a little grayer and even cooler. Proclaiming Snipes as Vampire Slayer and Marvel Daddy, Reynolds implored fans to retweet for a Logan-like send-off, an allusion to the acclaimed 2017 Wolverine sequel. The post had more than 85,000 retweets. They even managed to work in a dig about that other Blade reboot, which has been stuck in development hell for 5 years and counting. Another potential litmus test, Henry Cavill's Wolverine. In one early scene in Deadpool and Wolverine, the Man of Steel star is seen playing a Wolverine variant. It's not as odd as it first seems. The moment brings to life the long-swirling online chatter and fanfiction that had proposed Cavill as Jackman's perfect replacement. Could this have been Cavill's engine-revving, cigar-puffing test drive? Quote, "They put it as cameo to check how the audience will react, and now we know the response is unanimously positive for Cavillrine," according to one Twitter post. Ditto Daphne Keane, who, judging by the temperature on social media right now, could well have a Disney Plus series heading her way, reprising her role as Logan's mini-Wolverine clone, X-23. In his Twitter thread, Reynolds hinted at a difference between some cameos and others. Quote, "Having the chance to say goodbye to some of these heroes is as important as having new characters to root for," he wrote, effectively dividing the cameos into 2 categories: heroes saying goodbye and characters for audiences to root for. Tatum, Reynolds wrote, fits squarely in the second camp. Obviously, some cameos were simply intended to be a fun throwback. Reynolds' tribute to Garner's Elektra, for example, seems to place the character in that heroes to say goodbye to group, bearing none of the call to action energy of his previous posts. It reads more like a eulogy than anything else. Quote, "I love her, and I will now and always owe her one. 5. What a baller. Hashtag Elektra forever." For what it's worth, Reynolds has elsewhere denied the idea that Deadpool and Wolverine was conceived as a dry run for future superhero flicks. In a recent interview with Collider, he claimed there'd been no talk or even a whisper of a follow-up to the film. Deadpool focused or otherwise. Quote, "This movie was made as a complete experience. It wasn't made to be a commercial for another movie," he told the publication. But Deadpool himself is proving absurdly, record-breakingly lucrative. So much so that it's near impossible not to read Reynolds' latest comments, quote, "I have no idea if I'll ever wear that Deadpool suit again," without scoffing. There is no way audiences have seen the last of the regenerating degenerate, for the simple fact that he has made too much money to disappear. And you can say that, and Disney has suffered through the last several years getting rid of what traditionally worked for them with superheroes. So of course Disney could just go ahead and do it all over again, but it doesn't look likely that they will. Reynolds may as well stay permanently zipped in the costume for all the time he'll spend wearing it in the coming years. Odds are you'll see him sooner rather than later, quite possibly opposite Robert Downey Jr. in the recently unveiled Avengers movie. It is admittedly an apt business move to use Deadpool and Wolverine as an opportunity to spitball new ideas. Maybe it'll even lead to fans getting what they want, but you just can't escape the smack of cynicism. It's at least a cynicism the film itself is more than happy to cop to. And it does, countless times. Marvel and Disney's capitalist greed is pretty much the punchline of the whole movie, referenced ad nauseum in meta moments wryly spoken by Reynolds himself. Regardless, the focus group has worked. Tatum, Snipes, Cavill, the people have spoken. Spin-offs assemble. When Marvel was bought by Disney for around $4 billion years ago, it was inconceivable that Disney would try to walk away from what Marvel actually was. Because no one had done that with business at the time, and no one protected brands the way that Disney protected brands. They were really incredibly good at it back in the day. Disney's ability to protect intellectual properties and to get revenue out of licensing and distribution for film and TV projects was completely unparalleled. This is what Disney said at the time, and this is what Ike Perlmutter, who owned Marvel, said at the time. Disney to acquire Marvel Entertainment, building on its strategy of delivering quality branded content to people around the world. Disney has agreed to acquire Marvel Entertainment in a stock and cash transaction that companies announced today. This was August 31st, 2009, a while ago. But still, I'm telling you, it was completely inconceivable that Disney would gut what Marvel was all about and try to go in a completely different direction. Here's what Bob Iger said. This transaction combines Marvel's strong global brand and world-renowned library of characters including Iron Man, Spider-Man, X-Men, Captain America, Fantastic Four, and Thor with Disney's creative skills, unparalleled global portfolio of entertainment properties, and a business structure that maximizes the value of creative properties across multiple platforms and territories. This was years before streaming. And when Bob Iger said that, he wasn't lying. He continued, quote, Ike Perlmutter and his team have done an impressive job of nurturing these properties and have created significant value. We are pleased to bring his talent and these great assets to Disney. We believe that adding Marvel to Disney's unique portfolio of brands provides significant opportunities for long-term growth and value creation. And it did. Marvel did great. Disney did great. Even Ike Perlmutter did great with his Marvel stock. And here's what Ike had to say. Disney is the perfect home for Marvel's fantastic library of characters, given its proven ability to expand content creation and licensing businesses. This is an unparalleled opportunity for Marvel to build upon its vibrant brand and character properties by accessing Disney's tremendous global organization and infrastructure around the world. The deal completely made sense at the time. Ike Perlmutter has since been thrown out of the company and sold all of his stock at a really good profit. He did okay. Financially, at least. But when I tell you it was inconceivable at the time that Disney would destroy all of the Marvel properties, destroy the Marvel brand, and then have to go completely in the opposite direction again just to build back where they were a few years ago, I know it sounds crazy, but it's absolutely true. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.